Yo, what is good, guys? This is basically a trade recap. I guess you can say I executed a trade on Friday, like this Friday. It's like Sunday night right now, right? My trade recaps are long overdue for sure. I should be posting a lot more. I wanted to post the one on Friday, the execution I took on Friday, because I feel like I'm just holding back, like me saying I'm waiting for Monday and I might not even post that day, right? It's important to just start. So that's what I'm doing, right? I want to take you guys through Monday's price action, how we ended up capitalizing on that day, take you over my consistency and kind of the way I viewed the day. Yeah, so let's kind of get into it. Make myself a little smaller here. Bring myself up here. Okay. Let's kind of go over this. All right. Let's go to open. Okay. All right. Of course, leaning into this day, honestly, bro, I was very bearish. I genuinely thought we were gonna go down to these 4-hour intermediate lows. Let me just go on. Yes. Alright, I still have everything marked out on ES for the most part, but ES is not in replay mode. Let me try one more time. Alright, there you go. Oh, I have to. Okay, that's okay. Whatever. Alright, ES is not replay mode. I guess we're not gonna use ES for the meantime, but anyways, yeah. So at 9:30. Well, going into open, I felt very confident that we did want to distribute lower, as we did create these relatively equal lows with these 4-hour intermediate lows. You know, we do have like we kind of chopped around overnight, displaced a lot lower. We're overall displacing a lot lower on the much higher time frame, right? From this 4-hour, we're clearly wicking it right on the higher time frame, displacing lower. What are we doing when we are displacing lower from this higher time frame 4-hour? Well, we are disrespecting bullish gaps, which is a clear, obvious signature in price to be what? To be bearish, right? It's very simple. Your bias does not need to be that hard. It's literally, if you're bullish, or we're disrespecting bearish in respecting bullish. If we're bearish, disrespecting disrespecting bullish, respecting bearish. That's simple, guys. That's simple, right? You can see right here, respecting that 4-hour, displacing through that 1-hour, taking out highs, displacing again, right? Just displacing again, disrespecting even more of these gaps on the lower time frame, creating more gaps right here for us to manipulate into off open, right? It's obvious we're trending lower here. Okay. Oh yeah. I don't know why. I don't know if it's live market or not, but anyways, I don't know if you guys can see on ES. We also had these lows right here at 9:30 open. ES also had these relatively equal lows. What I wanted us to see, what I wanted to see off open was we manipulate what we are already previously manipulated inside this 15-minute gap of pre-market, but I did want to see us re-manipulate, right? The high, so the 4-hour intermediate, 15-minute intermediate high, because at 9:30 we are going to open up a new 15-minute, right? And basically re-manipulate the high to then potentially take a short off open, right? A 9:30 Judas, right? And that's exactly what we end up getting, right? Play it one more candle right here. All right, we end up getting an open lower, adding a little bit more draws to push lower. Then we end up doing what? We end up sweeping out this high inside this gap. So this is a 15-minute intermediate high. Okay, and let's kind of skip a little bit more. Okay, in this leg right here, we ended up getting a 15-second and a 30-second inversion. I was watching this, but I was a little too late to the entry, to the point where it displaced without me, man. It was very unfortunate. This would have probably been the execution. Like, mans would have probably entered like right here, stops at that high. I would have been pretty confident to target this whole entire leg, but usually I go for a 1-to-1 RR, targeting that low hanging fruit, right? And this would basically be the entry. I would probably risk as much, right? TP down here, and stops right there. Okay, and then you play it out. Bam, immediate TP straight to your dome hole. But unfortunately, I just did not capitalize on that trade. So let's kind of keep skipping forward here. We end up doing what? We end up leaving this low, creating even closer, relatively equal lows, then doing what? Chopping around side to side, low resistance liquidity, right? This is another clean signature in price for us to potentially do what? For us to potentially move lower and distribute lower, basically create a magnet to take out our overall DOL, draw on liquidity. That simple. ES is doing the same thing where we are indeed generating liquidity, but I just did not like how ES was displacing like this, man. Honestly, it just looked terrible, but nevertheless, ES did end up taking out this 15-minute intermediate high right here. We end up getting SMT. I did end up taking a 30-second entry right about here, stop right here. Overall entry targeting that DOL. Nowhere, as we are so close, I definitely see us, if we will be taking out this low hanging fruit, we are for sure going to displace a little bit lower to take out that overall DL, giving me some extra RR on this trade. Now, one thing I definitely incorporated is in accumulation, when you do struggle to see an obvious manipulation, like I tend to look for a CISD. What do I mean by this? Well, basically, let's say we are chopping around right here and we end up getting some sort of, I'm actually going to make this, yeah. And we end up getting some sort of manipulation through SMT. But to me, like for example right here, we have this. We end up getting SMT right here with this high. And then we end up getting that inversion. But it is on the 30-second lower time frame, and I only take 30-second trades or anything in the seconds time frame if I am extremely confident in, right? But this looks very awkward because it does still look like we are inside that accumulation zone. We didn't end up like displacing out of it, giving us an obvious like manipulation, but instead we stayed inside this accumulation zone, then got that inversion. So what do you really do in this case to make yourself feel a little bit more comfortable to say, hey, we got that breakaway to take us to our draw on liquidity? Well, what you can wait for on top of your highest time frame inversion is a CISD. Extra little break body closure below the series of up close candles to basically indicate that, hey, we are breaking lower here. We are breaking this level. This is an obvious sign that we are going to break this accumulation. That manipulation was valid. We did get that valid accumulation, which validates the manipulation, which then validates the distribution to our overall draw on liquidity. So I did end up entering this trade, but I ended up exiting like around here. Like we ended up distributing a little lower, then I got like negative 40 or whatever, and I realized, hey, I'm breaking my rules. I don't care, I'm exiting, right? Regardless of whether I'm negative or not, I'm exiting. I'm getting a small punishment for taking that stupid loss, and I'm just gonna exit. Okay, and yeah, it ends up going my way, I guess, and distributing higher, basically stopping out my original entry. From here, I'm really confident in shorts. We end up taking out this 15-minute intermediate high and this 30-minute intermediate high. But now we're starting to approach all these, this buy side drive. So I did want to see, okay, if we are truly bearish, this is the last point at which I want to see shorts, right? This 15-minute intermediate high. So I would love to see some sort of inversion of this higher time frame gap, or I knew there was going to be a 2-minute eventually. Well, yeah, we ended up opening up this 2-minute. I wanted to see some sort of inversion to then target this abundance of low resistance liquidity, making it even more obvious to you that, hey, we are generating a magnet in price to take us to our DOL. But unfortunately, we did not end up doing that. We ended up just straight distributing higher on ES and NQ, leaving the opportunity of a short off the table. very unfortunate, man. Genuinely, this would have been a plus for sure. Now it's coming to an obvious scenario once we start to break through these highs. Like, when you want to take a short opportunity, I tend to stop looking for some sort of short. Once we start to like deliver through these key levels, right? Completely basically disrespecting, using them at like an imbalance in price. We're disrespecting these key levels. This 15-minute intermediate high is making me think maybe we should be switching the bias a little, right? And yeah, we're not wicking it. We're not wicking. Like, we're not wicking, getting our inversion immediately to then trade lower. Instead, we are just literally just running higher, right? And that is not what you want to see when looking for a trade setup, okay? So anyways, now ES is starting to trade really close to all this abundance of liquidity right here. When we see on, so it's Friday. Okay, Friday. Sorry. Okay, right here. All right, so Friday, we are right here at 10:30, 10:15, 10:30. It's very obvious that ES is distributing to what? All this low resistance, slanted highs on the higher time frame. So ES has a very obvious DOL, and Q has a very obvious DOL lower, but we're clearly not respecting that for a reason. Where does price actually want to go, right? And I use ES as a confluence to kind of see that. Well, we're clearly distributing towards all these slanted highs on ES, which we do end up taking out, by the way, mid-trade. The trade I ended up executing, we ended up taking out all these slanted highs, then reversing. That was a very obvious DOL to me. So basically showing like me that ES wants to go to this drawn liquidity, therefore I'm gonna be leaning a lot more bullish, right? Anyways, I'm starting to look for some sort of PDRs to manipulate into. We do end up getting what? We end up getting, I want to see a PDRA between the 15-minute all the way up to the 4-hour to take some sort of valid continuation model. It's really that simple. Or you take a sponsored 5-minute. I'll go over that in another video. But anyways, I do end up fading this 5-minute continuation for a numerous amount of reasons. Well, one, we don't have generated liquidity obvious slanted highs, which is 3 highs or more. For example, right here, this, oh, what the hell? It's not giving me an option. Okay. Something like this is considered to be trend line liquidity, right? Or low resistance liquidity, stacked highs, generating buy orders to potentially run to our overall DOL, draw liquidity. We are not doing that here. Instead here, we're just getting that simple one high structure. We end up manipulating lower into a 5-minute, leaving only one high to target not a very obvious DOL, while delivering into from the most premium gap of this entire leg. Literally manipulates nowhere near discount, right? Just tapping into this most premium gap, then delivering higher. And on top of that, it is a 5-minute gap, right? Nowhere near a higher time key level. Anyways, I just want to hope for the best and see whether we can create some sort of key level to manipulate in. We end up generating. I marked this out as data. Seemed like a data candle. I'm pretty sure there was a tweet at this time. And low resistance. Notice, guys, we have stacked high. We have stacked high. We have stacked high, right? Just all these stacked highs. Sorry. That is low resistance liquidity. Bam. Alright. Okay. So around 11 a.m. right here, one reason why I was also really confident in this trade beyond just an yes, obviously delivering to that higher time from DOL. Well, we're obviously generating liquidity to potentially manipulate, to potentially distribute higher, taking out all that generated liquidity during the AM session. Now, one thing you guys should definitely take into account, when 10 a.m. generates, 11 a.m. usually does the distribution, where we end up generating all 10 a.m. Then at 11 a.m. we end up getting an open low or open high, right? Where price basically generates, right? 11 a.m. opens, trades into that key level, then gets that inversion to potentially distribute and take out all that liquidity right here. So let me kind of move this for you guys. This is what? This is 10 a.m. This is what? Sorry. This is 11 a.m. 11 a.m. does what? 11 a.m. opens. It opens right here. It trades lower, trading into what? Maybe some sort of higher time frame imbalance. For example, in this scenario, it was a 30-minute gap. Then we end up getting that strong displacing 2-minute IFVG in the scenario I'm about to show you. From there, I basically put I enter right here, protected stop, abundance of low resistance, really obvious, and of course a very obvious buy side level in line with the higher time frame, and DOL is obvious as well right here. All right, that's simple, guys. Really that simple, bro. Like, oh my gosh. All right, yeah, anyways, we end up opening up abundance of key levels, right? We have this 30-minute key level right here, which I definitely do want to see us manipulate into, as it is sitting in what? EQ of the range, discount of this range. The long discount makes the trade a lot more higher probability, and vice versa. Shorting in premium makes the trade a lot higher probability, right? So this 30-minute makes me a lot more confident due to the fact that we are going to be delivering from a discount. So that's what I want to see 11 a.m. do. 11 a.m. opens right here. Well, it opens right here. Does what? Trades a little higher, generates even more liquidity, generates, and from here we end up manipulating into our key level. Getting an immediate reaction higher. Notice how we end up wicking this key level, print rejection wicks at this key level the second we end up tapping it, which is another obvious rejection. I'd say obvious signature in price to potentially go higher. From here, what is my entry trigger? How do I enter my trade? Do I just enter my trade the second I tap it? What do I need to confirm this trade is valid? Well, my entry trigger is the highest time frame inversion of the current trading leg between the 1 minute and the 5 minute. Meaning, whatever the current trading leg we're in, I want to see us inverse the highest time frame gap in that leg. From, let's say we make this high right here. Bam. Okay. Right here. We have a new high right here. We create a high. We have our buy side. We get that key level tap. From this high to this low, I want to see the highest time frame gap in this trading leg get absolutely inversed. All right, that's literally all I want us to see right here. Okay, and that's exactly what I was looking at. Right. Anyways, yeah, so basically looking at this overall, I want to see what is the highest time frame gap in the current trading leg. Well, what do we have? We have this 1 minute gap right here. We have these two 1 minute gaps, sorry. We have this 2 minute right here, these two minutes. We are possibly gonna get a 3 minute. Let's see. Yeah, okay. We do not end up printing the 3 minute, as we get a very displacing candle to potentially show us that the 2 minute might be the last higher time frame gap to potentially take us straight to our DOL, right? And this happened at 11:17, and this is exactly when I enter. I enter a candle closure. Candle ends up closing. What we end up doing, we end up completely inversing this. I enter the second wicket candle closure, so at the top of that candle right there, I place my stop where? Place my stop at this level right here, and going to ES, we have the exact same scenario right on the right of us, right? ES never end up tapping this gap. This creates some sort of SMT. From here, we end up getting a displacing inversion paired with a bunch of low resistance liquidity to take ES to its overall DOL, which was this overall buy side right here, right? The higher time frame matches the lower time frame. If you were to enter on ES, you would have caught a significant amount of points as well, right? If you were extremely confident in that overall higher time frame drop, 1 to 4, right? But nevertheless, once you get that inversion, you're obviously confident that your low is protected, and this is where you can take your entry trigger. From here, I just play it out, and bam, just like that, I take the low-hanging fruit. In my eyes, this was obviously the most obvious buy side level, and so was this data high, as we did have a lot more low resistance, but we did end up presenting ourselves with a SMT at that data high with ES. Basically, ES with the SMT is very simple. ES ends up taking out this high on its index right here, while NQ does not, right? That's basically what it is. And yeah, that's the overall trade. It's super simple. 10 a.m. Generates, 11 a.m. distributes, right? There's a lot of go over in this specific day. Overall, there was 3 trading opportunities. I ended up waiting a little bit longer. Patience does pay. So yeah, that is overall the trade day for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. I hope I spilled a very good amount of sauce, and have a good day.